Kia ora everyone, exciting news here today. We're going to be talking about an update for the LEGO Pirates of the Caribbean Black Pearl set that releases later this year. There's no images just yet, but we do have some vague ideas of the important info like the pieces, the price rumors, release date and minifigs. Given that this is a rumor video though, take everything said here with a grain of salt, as things are subject to change at any given time. The point of this video today is that this might hopefully give us a vague idea of what to expect. If you enjoy this quick news update, liking this video here and subscribing to the channel does help to support more videos like this one in the future. Getting right into things, set 10365 is said to be the LEGO Icons Pirates of the Caribbean Black Pearl, and it's said to be released in September of 2025, containing 2,800 pieces in total, with no current price point, but we'll speculate on that in a sec. At this stage, it is said to include 7 minifigures in total, and entirely based on the first movie in the series. The minifigures are Captain Jack Sparrow, Will Turner, Elizabeth Swann, Joshua Gibbs, Anna Maria, Cotton, and Marty. My first immediate thoughts are that the figures all sound rather interesting. There's a decent handful there that are characters we never got in the original line of sets, but I just knew they weren't going to do Davy Jones again there. I have to imagine that Pirates of the Caribbean here will follow the same path as Lord of the Rings potentially. It's possible that LEGO are going to try and bleed us dry with a new ship every year or something, and I imagine that the Flying Dutchman is surely in the cards for being a set release sometime in the future, since they know people want the Dutchman crew as figures. These guys are all pretty fitting as well. That crew is entirely playable in the LEGO game across that trilogy, and it always saddened me as a kid knowing that only Jack, Will, Elizabeth and Gibbs were the ones turned into minifig form. Anna Maria is especially surprising to see there and greatly appreciated. That will be Zoe Saldana's third character into a minifig form, I believe. She was notably absent throughout the next 2 sequels, but like I said, she is playable throughout the trilogy of movies in that LEGO game from years back. I'm going to assume that Cotton will also have his parrot friend too, and I'm excited to see how he appears in minifig form because the color scheme for him might be one of my favorites from the set. And Marty in the game had this really fun gimmick where he had a massive blunderbuss gun for his weapon, and it would send him flying backwards every time he fired the gun. It's a joke from the third movie. I don't expect him to include that big gun in the set since it is more of a reference in that game than anything. It's not an actual character inclusion from memory, but I would love to see it anyway, just to see how they make that weapon in LEGO because the game's model is really cool. Now there's no word on if we'll be seeing any villains in this set, the most notable ones I think from that first movie being Barbossa, Rigetti and Pintel. Fingers crossed that we do hear some good news and that they are actually included, since the Pearl is technically in their possession in the first movie, so it'd make more sense to have them here than Jack's entire sequel movie crew. I'd also love to see how they do Rigetti and Pintel because their in-game depictions are really weird and I don't think they're very accurate either. Let's talk pieces because 2,800 pieces is pretty massive compared to the previous Black Pearl. That last one that released in 2011 contains just 804 pieces in total. Famously, LEGO pirate ships in the past all used fancy specially molded pieces for the body of the ship, with some minor bricks that were placed on top there for the additional detail. If we take a look at some previous ships that released this past decade, the two that stand out to me are the LEGO Ideas release and the Creator set. And that Ideas one is amazing, but the piece count's really high there because of the additional island build that you can see. 2,545 pieces total, and I'm not sure how much of that's actually used for the ship itself, but regardless, it's still less than what this upcoming Pearl has. The scale's really great, and it seems to be in line with those previous pirate movie releases. I've never really seen them in person though, so don't quote me on that. The ship there uses those specially molded parts that you can see, but there's a bigger emphasis on the parts building up the rest of the body. And released in the same year in 2020 but apparently still available today is this amazing looking Creator one that's worth noting because everything there is brick built including the sails, 1,264 pieces total, so less than half of what the Pearl is said to be, but I bring it up because I assume the Black Pearl there is going to use this as a foundation of its build, maybe? Because we don't have word yet on whether or not this is going to be using some specially molded pieces for the ship or if it's entirely brick built. I believe they still use those molded pieces though. I think Mario and Ninjago definitely used them recently. The last ship there to talk about though is the Endurance, which is an adult scaled set, so it's probably a better, closer comparison to the upcoming Pearl, also tragically said to be an 18+ adult set. The Endurance there contains more pieces at 3,011 parts total and 0 minifigures. The price point for this one is $200 270 USD before tax, or for me here in NZ, 450. The Endurance is not a minifig scaled set, mind you, as seen here with that lifeboat image. No minifig is going to fit in that thing. But if we see this image here of the builder, it looks pretty great for that size. The pearl shouldn't be nearly as long as this set, and it should be sized accurately for its minifigures. So $270 USD before tax, 300 more odd pieces, no minifigures. Just recently we saw the LEGO Shire released with only 2017 pieces and 9 minifigures, and that has the exact same price point as the Endurance. I would really love to see this thing priced around the same as the Endurance, given the lower piece count and all, but you really can't tell these days how much LEGO are going to value their minifigures and how much their licensing costs. I have also already seen adults exclaim the sentiment of, it doesn't matter how much it costs, it's a day one purchase no matter what, so don't be surprised when LEGO hears that and decides to suddenly drastically raise the price. There is a lot to look forward to now when it comes to LEGO and 2025 releases. We now have the vague dates for The Simpsons and Pirates of the Caribbean and for Star Trek, so I'm adding them to my calendar and I'm keeping my eye on those dates. It's a very big year for LEGO this year, like it always is, and I look forward to seeing how this set here turns out. If you enjoyed this news coverage of LEGO Pirates of the Caribbean, liking and subscribing to the channel here does help to support more videos like this one in the future. Thank you very much for watching everyone, ka kite anō, see you all next time.